How we doing, boys? It's a 10 guys, one pod podcast. It's your host. All right. I was going to save this for later, but I feel like it's perfect time. Parker, are you all right if I go on a little rant right now?
Yeah, go for it, buddy.
So, first off, your host, Dexter Michelle Beta. Parker, I'm going to save it for the later Johnson because it's a good one. I have a favor to ask our fans. Parker and I talked about this every day on Wednesdays. We call each other at 5. Something came to me today. I was thinking about our podcast. I despise the name 10 Guys, One Pod podcast. I don't like 10 Guys, One Pod. I don't like 10 Guys, One Podcast. Not catchy, doesn't flow. And just saying that again this time, I was like, all right, fuck this. Let's get going. So what I'm asking our loyal fans, all the way from Paul in Houston to Luigi in fucking Italy, I'm asking for help, advice, anything. Any ideas you guys have for a better name? Because right now it's not cutting it. I already know how Parker feels, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really. I like that it's us. I like that it's what we did, but I think as a podcast, with hundreds of thousands of fans across the nation, it just doesn't quite make the cut, in my opinion.
I think, and the hardest part, when I came to the realization is, I was trying to think of like what other podcasts do well and things like that, and how we're different. And the way I like to look at it is, we're not your like Leave It to Beaver average ass podcast. Like, it's a little more gritty, it's a little more grimy. You're not gonna find out how many exact catches Julio Jones is gonna get this week against whatever fuck team he's playing, but you're gonna feel the pain that we feel. We understand what you're going through. Like, you should have won this week, shouldn't you have? And the other guy you're playing shouldn't have won. But London decided to have a game at 6 fucking a.m. and that's when Melvin Gordon decided not to play. And so one of you is like, fuck me in the ass, and the other guy's sitting there all happy because he somehow won a game he wasn't supposed to. And what you're getting from us is both sides. Luckily this week, this is great. I just thought of that. Like, we got the two guys right now. All right, let's save that for later. But as you can see, I would like a new name. And if we choose the name you guys give us, you will get the first official T-shirt of whatever that name is, signed by your host, Dexter Michelle Beta, and Parker's got a great Johnson.
Thanks, man. That was a hell of an intro.
It wasn't what I was planning, but I felt like, hey, might as well fucking go with it.
Had to be said. You totally breezed over the fact that this is our first podcast recorded.
I didn't know if we were like, okay. Well, they're all recorded. Duh.
That's true. This is the first one with visual recording. I'm literally already seeing things that I regret doing. Like, for example, this camera should be higher up. I don't know why I didn't do that earlier. This isn't even the camera that you can see, by the way. This is a totally different camera.
Oh, really? So they get to see they see me, and okay, they're seeing a different camera from me.
Yep.
Makes sense. Also, did you regret wearing that hoodie?
No, not at all. This is a great hoodie. I love this hoodie. It's very comfortable.
You look very, I sit at my desk and computer and code all the time.
That's the point of this hoodie, actually. So thank you for noticing that.
All right. Well, you already won that battle. Hey, I drink that kombucha sometimes.
Yeah, this is what I use for my spitter sometimes. I'll just go get some, and then I'll put it down. And my farts were fucking nasty before I put this down earlier, too, with my my ground beef and beans for dinner with sour cream and avocado. I should stop eating that. It's a terrible, terrible thing for my body.
No, don't ever stop. It's a terrible thing for Amber's nose. That's about it.
Yeah, luckily she's not here on Wednesdays.
All right. Now, my favorite segment of every podcast, something fun fact, hashtag next gen stats.
All right. This is slowly becoming a trend, but I'm winging this one pretty hard, too, because I had to set up all this video bullshit. But I got two good ones. Let me determine if I want to make this into a question. Okay. So Julio Jones is the wide receiver 7 on the season.
Really?
Yes, believe it or not. This was as of October 23rd. So that was yesterday. Using red zone stats only, where do you think he ranks in the wide receiver core?
For this year?
Yes.
Red stats.
Yeah, red
zone
stats.
stats. So does that mean if he catches it and gets tackled at the 1, but it was thrown to him at the 40, does that give him red zone stats? Do you know? Is that a little too much?
I don't know.
All
I
right.
honestly don't know.
I'm going to give him 78.
78. Julio Jones using red zone stats only as wide receiver 214th, dead last in the league at -2 fantasy points.
Okay, that's way. I thought he might have had like a little slam for 10 yards. Fuck, that's bad.
Yep. I think it's only because he's the only, like, if you think about it, like, everyone who hasn't scored a touchdown has 0 fantasy points, and so they're, like, all tied for one of those positions. But he's the only one with -2 red zone fantasy points because he fumbled one.
Which is crazy because now if you ask most NFL analysis, those people,
Anal assists.
what they think about, like, who are the top wide receivers, it's going to be a 3-way mixture. They're going to throw in the Adam Thielens and the Cooper Kupps, but like pure talent, OBJ, Antonio Brown, Julio Jones.
Yeah.
That motherfucker is not like red zone. Like how have you? I would, if I was him, I'd be like, guys, all week we're practicing red zone passes. Fuck the rest of the team.
Just to me.
He's better than anyone on their team. By far. There's not a player on that team that's better than Julio Jones.
I'm a little sad you left my boy Golden Tate out of that top 3 ranking of wide receivers in the NFL.
Didn't he have a touchdown this past week?
I think he got a touch. No, he had like a 30-yard run. Yeah, and I think he dropped one too. Like, he's getting tons of red zone targets. It's just not coming through, but it'll come. It'll come. All right, I got a second stat. Only 2 stats today. How do I want to phrase this? All right, so in the NFL, do you have any idea just name some of the best teams at not going 3 and out?
Not going 3 and out. The Rams.
Yep, they're number 1.
Chiefs.
Chiefs are 3.
And the Saints.
Saints are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. Falcons are number 2 at 21% 3 and outs. Rams are 13.5% 3 and outs. And I also have a list of the 4 worst. Do you want to take a gander at what those could be?
4 worst. Let's go the Raiders, the Titans, and the Jets.
Okay, that's 3 teams.
Yeah, you told me the worst 3.
Oh, I said 4.
Oh, Broncos.
No.
I just feel like every stat you want to hurt me.
Cardinals, Bills, Jets, Browns. Cardinals rock a 47% 3 and out rate. That's not converting on 3rd down. That's going 3 and out on your drive.
I know we have a lot of Cardinals fans out there, especially that listen to this. We're big in Arizona. What drives me insane on the pure, I love football. And if I didn't have fantasy, the amount of football intake would not go away. That David Johnson's pure skill is just taken away from him. The way they fucking played when they played the Broncos, and it was like 3rd and 1. They did a pass play and we intercepted it. You have David fucking Johnson. I get it. Our D line's pretty good. Like, our defensive line's above average. Your O line's below average. You let that motherfucker go and let him break a tackle. Yep. Give him the opportunity.
Do you think the coaching switches are going to change anything?
I don't know. So Byron Leftwich, who was a quarterback for the Jaguars, most famously known for playing for Marshall, breaking his leg in the game, still playing, marching them down the field. His offensive linemen carried him. Every time he threw a pass, they'd grab him, pick him up, and run him down the field so he could get in and hike the ball again and throw it. So he was playing on one leg. Literally one of the craziest, most amazing things we've ever seen by an NFL player, by any football player ever. Like, the idea that, like, his leg is broken and he said, fuck you guys, I'm staying in, hike, throw the ball, 2 offensive linemen pick me up, let's run down the field. Like, that gets my dick hard.
All right, I got a 3rd stat. How many times in the history of this podcast have I only ripped off 2 stats and then been done?
Once.
0 times. Because that was my... Because I just recovered this one by having a 3rd stat.
Well, I don't remember. Did you have 3 last week?
I think so.
I thought Paul cucked you pretty hard.
Maybe he did cuck me pretty hard on actually ripping off stats, but we took like at least 6 different takes of the stats segment anyways, so I'm going to count it.
To be fair, we compounded stats last week.
Yeah, quite a bit. All right, that's my segment. Knock yourselves out.
That was fun. We always love them.
Thanks.
Don't ever stop.
Thanks.
I can't wait for next week. It literally is my favorite part of the podcast because I like to learn. I like to educate myself. I like to grow. And that's what we do for you guys out there.
We
Now
do it
let's
for you.
go. Yeah, this is for you guys. We
do it for
spend a
you.
lot of time.
People in the microphone.
Yeah, boy. Now let's go to something that's not going to be fun. Week 7 results.
Hey. You put our matchup last. You didn't want to get this out of the way. I'm surprised.
No, because whatever. So we start the week with Charlie versus Gabe. Going into the Monday night game, Gabe was down by, I believe, do quick math here, 2.2 points. 2.2 points he was down. Like the first quarter of the game, he had Sanu left. Sanu catches one catch that gave him a 0.1 lead over Charlie, so it was over. And then Sanu had one more catch for like 5 more yards. So Gabe beat Charlie 113.4 to 112.3.
You can't see this because you haven't spectated yet, but on our visual screen, by the way, I'm pulling up the game right now, so the viewers can now view the box score as they're watching the YouTubes.
That's fucking cool. We need to have it where I can see that too, though.
Yeah, we
We'll
do.
work on that next week.
It's gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
I'm seeing here, like, dude, Gabe has so many opportunities to lose, dude. Bill's -2, LaShawn McCoy 0.1, Muhammad Sanu 3.1. Oh my God, like, do you feel bad for Charlie?
No.
Why not?
So one, I was gonna say this. Charlie lost, but he lost at the very beginning. It was over. What would have been worse, and we'll get to someone who else went through this on the Monday night game, is sitting there waiting, and then it happened at the very end. Kind of like when you played. Who'd you beat where you won on the last catch?
It's Daniel.
Daniel. Like the last catch
2 yards.
of the game
Yes.
was Michael Thomas, and then they kneeled it. And you beat him by 0.2 points, right?
Yeah, it's 2 yards.
So that was crazy. Now, as you mentioned, Gabe, which was crazy on was it Saturday, the 17th? Gabe switched out all of his tight ends.
Yeah, he had a little bit of
No, not
indecision.
tight ends, defenses.
Defenses.
On Sunday morning.
So, do you think he was indecisive or hot swapping out defenses so no one else could pick him up?
I don't know, but that's a good one. But he started out with the Colts, and then he dropped them.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to, I believe, the Jets, and then he ended with the Bills. The Jets and Bills both got -1. The Colts had +16.
Wow. Luckily he won it by the skin of his teeth, but...
So last week I started You Got Cucked. I was hoping to do that this week, and I wanted Gabe to cuck himself, but he didn't. He pulled it off with Sanu. Sorry, Charlie. I do. If it had to be better that you lost right away and it was over. Like waiting and sweating out that entire game would not be fun. Let's go on to the next one. The biggest variation between points scored was our Bradley 146 versus Michelle's 91, and Brad's first ice given. Another little next gen stat. Who's the only person not to give an ice in our league?
It's you, Dex. It's you.
It is me. It's fucking me.
How does that feel?
You know, it gives me something to strive for. Like,
at least there's something.
I've hit every peak and valley. I got one more to go.
Nice. Do you think you'll get it this season?
No, and I'm going to tell you why a little bit later.
Okay. Okay.
So nope. But we're proud of you, Brad.
Yep.
Fucking way to put together some shit.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever had what's that shit? Goulash. Have you ever had goulash?
Is that?
It's like an old like German or European dish. So
Okay.
what they would do is they take all the leftovers, put it in a pot, throw in some tomato sauce, stir it up, and you'd eat it, and it was goulash. It was like all the shit left over you didn't want, but you couldn't waste it. Gabe's team is goulash. Brad's team is goulash. Brad has gotten all the shit no one wanted, and it turned into something great.
I got a question for you. Who scored more points last week, Corey Clement or Wendell Smallwood?
Smallwood.
Yeah, Corey Clement 3.2, Smallwood 4 something.
Who has Smallwood?
Me. Do you remember that I spent 16 fab on them?
I always mix them up. You guys talk about it, and then in my head they're interchangeable.
Yeah, they basically are.
You guys had a crapshoot.
One of them's a pass catching back. He catches more passes and
Which
stuff.
is crazy because in this league right now, pass catching backs are what's hit. They're fetch.
Yeah.
They're very fetch.
Very fetch. I don't know if you can tell from my pickup this week, but I'm hanging off the nuts of pass catching backs right now.
Fucking James White having ass motherfucker.
All right, we got Miller and Dustin next.
Dustin popped off 130 against Miller's 115, which was great because Miller literally told me I would rather beat Dustin this week than win the league. And he lost to Dustin. He had a vendetta against Dustin. He's like, fuck this.
Really?
He wanted to destroy him and his team. After last week scoring the highest, it's a very crazy year. Like there's no anyone who says that there's been consistency is lying.
Dude, this year has been such a freaking crapshoot. It's absolutely insanity. Dustin's garnered a lot of hate this year, would you say?
Yes, very much so.
I'd say so as well.
He's very good at talking shit, but he's so bad at it, it's good. It's very weird.
He's very bad, and it makes it effective. Is that what you're trying to say?
It's like when someone who says like a joke that's not funny, but they do it enough, it becomes funny.
And then they laugh at you a lot about it, and everyone starts making fun of you, and you feel bad, and you just kind of like leave the room and cry a little bit.
That's actually how I lost my virginity.
All right, moving on to Daniel and Paul.
All right. Another barn burner that came down to Monday night.
Big one.
This is the opposite of Charlie. So Daniel versus Paul. Going into the fourth quarter, Paul was down. There was, I believe, a minute 55 when Paul's kicker kicked a 56-yard field goal to take the lead and give him, I think it was a 5-point lead, not 100% sure, but who cares? Then Daniel, there was a minute 55 left. Daniel had Sterling Shepard left. Like, who the fuck? This
Sterling
guy.
and Ito Smith.
Yeah, Ito Smith was on the Falcons, though. And so he did have him.
Mm-hmm.
But what do? You have OBJ. What does Eli fucking Manning do? He throws a 56-yard bomb to Sterling Shepard and takes the fucking nut out of Paul's penis. Like that was like you were about, almost and then it just like your mom walks in, you're like, no, and it went away. That's what happened to Paul. Paul's mom walked in almost mid nut.
And you know what? Paul came onto this podcast last week and dropped a lot of knowledge on us. And we dropped a little knowledge on him too, but I noticed that one of the sides of that equation didn't quite learn. And that's that Paul fucked with the gods in the middle of the game. He thought he was up. He thought he had it sealed. The game wasn't closed. And he called his shot and he fucking lost it. He fucked with the gods. You can't do that.
Did they not learn from Gab? That I like you guys don't understand. That like, yes, you can bask in your glory when it happens. You can't count your chickens before the legs are hatched. Legs hatched.
Before the legs are hatched?
Yeah.
You can't count your chickens before they have legs, brother.
Brother. I honestly wish that I did this on purpose, but no, my fucking brain does.
This is everyday real life for you.
Yeah. It's because during work hours, I have to work so hard to say things properly that like my body's just like, all right, Dex, you can be retarded again.
You spent all of your smart time already, and now you're back to Dex. You went Super Saiyan.
Yes. All right. And then the final one, the one that hurts very, very much. So a little backstory. My birthday is October 29th. This Friday, this coming up weekend, I'm going to be in Rocky Point with my dad. The following weekend, I'm going to be in Denver. So with my friends in Arizona, I decided to celebrate now. So we go out to a nice restaurant, get some sushi, and I get the update. Melvin Gordon is questionable. We start drinking. We go out. We get a table. We're still drinking. It's 2 a.m. I come home. I go to bed about 3 o'clock. My dumbass doesn't plug my phone in, and it dies. I wake up at 9, plug it in, to find out that I have missed calls, missed messages from Daniel, Paul. Hey, Melvin Gordon's not playing. Switch your lineup out. I didn't. It was too late because the fucking Chargers decided to play at 6 a.m. in London. And because of that, I lost to Parker 116 to 105 because I got a big fat 0 in that RB1 spot.
And you didn't really have anybody else to put into that spot anyways on the fly. Like, what would you have done if you had woken up in time?
So, because I even talked to Mike about this at dinner, I was like, if he doesn't play, I can pick up Mike Williams because he was dropped, so I don't have to do a waiver. He was dropped on Wednesday, and I would have switched Crowell to my running back, and I would have put Mike Williams as my flex, and I would have dropped one of my tight ends, my bench tight end, and Mike Williams got an easy 12 points, and I would have beat Parker by 1 point. And I already had the game plan. I already had it, but I got pretty drunk. Not blackout drunk, but I got drunk enough where like I went to bed and I was out.
Would you say that you got cucked? Is this your you got cucked of the week? You haven't assigned one yet.
I don't think I got cucked though, because like I guess I did cuck myself.
You did have to watch.
I did cuck myself. Well, no, and it actually helped me because after I saw that, I didn't open my fantasy football app at all, which was crazy because I waited till the Sunday night game was over and I knew Parker and I both were done. And I was like, holy shit, I lost to Parker by 11 points. Like I was in this. Like it was a lot closer. I did not think we were going to have that. So that it made me feel better because all I did was watch football and not think about fantasy all day.
You got to relax. That was my wisdom of the week last week. But also I would propose that you got cucked because you got to watch Melvin Gordon just spread a big hole in your points. And you had to just watch that hole just kind of be gaping there the whole time. And that ended up being the hole that was the difference between your and my points, really.
Do you know Melvin Gordon's lowest points he scored this year?
Is it 0?
It's 7. Well, now it's 0.
Okay. Like, is this a trick question?
Oh, but before it was 17. Like
Okay.
he's been so solid for me. Like he's got his 30s, his 27s, his 22s, but 17 was his lowest.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
That one hurt.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the matchup. I forgot to do Dude, transitioning over to doing half videos, weird as shit, man.
Yep. Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. We like it. We like it a lot. Now let's go to standings because last week it was very close with everything. Now we're thinning the herd, and I don't like the way it's thinning. It reminds me of some of our buddies' hairlines.
That's my hairline, isn't it?
I had to get one.
No, it's intentional, dude. I'm not. This isn't a fucking. It's like exactly where my headphones go too. It's probably what. No, let's not talk about this anymore.
Okay.
Standings.
I wasn't gonna call you out. I just meant in general. You're not the only one.
That's true. I'm the only one that admits it freely.
You're the only one who accepted it and made yourself better.
True. That's most terrible things about me.
Enough about people's missing hair. In last place is Michelle Brooks with 2 and 5, with me tied with him, but I believe I have 10 more points than him. So we're both 2 and 5. Then we have the next three, Charlie, Paul, Miller. They're all 3 and 4. Miller has the most points, so currently he would be in the playoffs. Then we go to, I guess we'd call the pack, Gabe, Brad, Parker. Parker with the most points, all at 4 and 3. And then leading us all is Daniel and Dustin with the most points at 5 and 2.
What's interesting to me right now is that if we cut off playoffs right here and now, it would be in the Taco Bowl, it would be Mike, you, Charlie, and Paul, which is probably, I talked to you about this on the phone, probably the foremost people who like enjoy actual football the most and who like are most prideful about their football love. How does that make you feel as a football lover?
So as a football lover, I'm not going to go into the dynamics of watching football and understanding and just enjoying that because it's very different from fantasy. But I respect fantasy people. I hate the guys who are like, I only watch football and I want to see offense and defensive line smash each other. Like there is an art to fantasy football. Like it's nice, it's fun, I enjoy it. So like they don't correlate exactly. But as someone who loves this group and who would hate to be in the Taco Bowl, if I am, I want these three with me. I want them to go down on the fucking Titanic. The captain at the helm. Let's go, boys. Fucking Mike, Charlie, and Paul playing the violins. We're going down together, boys. That would be a great Taco Bowl.
Yeah, that would be. If one of these people is gonna claw their way out, who's it gonna be?
Dextrick, Michelle, Abeta.
Other than that, though,
Paul.
Yeah, probably Paul. His team, like some things, just turned around to like to really like.
You don't know with Paul though, and like everyone's team, but Paul has a very big variance between his high weeks and his low weeks. I'll say his are probably the biggest in the league because Paul has scored the most points twice. Paul has, I believe, scored the least at least once, and he might have scored another time, or he was right there. So it's very close.
I think he's done it twice now.
Okay, so he's like he's back and forth. So it's like, what Paul are you gonna get? And his team's good, but a lot of his flexes and wide receiver twos, running backs too, is he's guessing on how good they're gonna do that week.
Yeah. Kerryon Johnson and Aaron Jones buying into their hype and them not panning out is hurting his team. But he is having the Josh Gordon turnaround. Obviously, Marlon Mack's having a pretty good time right now. 30-point game.
He didn't start Marlon Mack too. You don't know because it's the Colts. It's those are the team. It's like Isaiah Crowell. He's had. I think he's like the number 11 running back. I've never started him on his good weeks. It's like you don't know. It's a crapshoot.
And David Johnson has a potential turnaround now that the coaching staff's changed. So his team could get better.
It has been good.
Yes.
But it has been bad. So it could be consistently better.
Okay.
So as we saw that now, are we good to do this?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's introduce it, and I'm gonna be winging it pretty hard because I spent the majority of my time setting this up instead of prepping for this segment. So
okay.
we're gonna wing it.
I might grab this by the balls the most, guys, but just know Parker and I are doing this together. So we thought it was a good idea to redraft the first two rounds with what we know now. So like, say we all have the knowledge of what's going on now, what our league would do in the draft and who they would draft, which is actually a lot harder than you guys.
This is going to be so fucking hard.
Let's do so. Since I've done a little bit more work, I'm going to let you go first.
Okay, I'm going to actually do something real quick where I can wait. So yeah, I'll go first. You're an even one. So if I go first, I'll get to pick my picks and you'll get to pick your picks. So it'll work. We'll trade off. But I'm going to take a little screenshot of like the first few rounds so I can like cross people off. So did we explain what we're going to do all the way? Did you just do that?
Yeah. So again, we're going to redo the draft, but it's only going to be, I guess, yeah, we're redoing the draft. So we're going to pick who we think you guys would pick now with the knowledge of how it played out.
Okay. So Paul, first pick, knowledge of how it played out. He's clearly not picking David Johnson. He's going to go Gurley.
I also have Paul at Gurley. Alvin Kamara was a close for him, but I think we all understand with them having the two backs, it brings Alvin Kamara down a little bit. So we both have Paul taking Todd Gurley. I'm going for Daniel. I believe he will take Alvin Kamara at number 2.
I think so too. There's no reason not to. And then me, who would I go at number 3?
I want to see if I got this right.
Oh, that's a good question. Dude, I just felt all of the stress of the draft consume me all over again. But it's even more under the watchful eye of other people. That's hard. Honestly, it's between Melvin Gordon and... No, it's Melvin Gordon. I would take Melvin Gordon.
Wow, I was way off. I had you taking James Conner.
Really? No, Melvin Gordon. James Conner's still up in the air for rest of season. Like, it's still so much unknown on that position.
I feel like we know that since what's his face still isn't back and he's lost $8 million, he's not coming back unless he gets traded.
He doesn't give many fucks right now, that's for sure.
So even with that, I only thought you would do it because you already you have him now and he's done very well for you. So I was basing off, and I think that's my problem is I'm a little more loyal than you guys, even to people I don't know, these fantasy fucks. But I still have, so that doesn't change who I think Charlie will take. I have Charlie taking Saquon Barkley, who has been a fucking animal.
I totally forgot about his existence. I probably would have taken Melvin still, but that's a good pick. Man, I see.
Saquon Barkley's the number 2 running back. Melvin Gordon's the number 3, and Melvin Gordon has a 0 for last week. And now he has his bye. Saquon hasn't had his bye yet.
So you actually have like the rankings on your thing right now.
I have everything. Yes.
Okay, so I'm winging this.
Yeah. So
you're gonna be the source of truth.
I told you what to do on ESPN so you can see the rankings, but you did not do that.
It's fine.
Yep. All right. So I had Charlie taking Saquon. Now we have Gabe up.
I think Gabe takes Larry Fitzgerald in the first round.
I love it. I fucking love it.
No, in reality, I think Gabe's obviously RB hunting early on. I think he probably takes. I think he would probably take Kareem Hunt actually.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's funny how this like plays out because there's so little speculation over running back performance. I feel like the ones who do pan out for the first 7 weeks would like having hindsight, you gobble them the fuck up. The problem with like drafting running backs early is they could, you have no idea how it's going to pan out. They'll probably get hurt or whatever the fuck, or they won't sign a contract, or it just happens sometimes. But like in this style of choosing, like if you know they're going to pan out for 7 weeks, you want that shit on your team.
So you kind of messed with me a little bit. I had Gabe taking Adam Thielen.
Ooh, okay.
So I had Adam Thielen. He is ahead of currently. If you just did fantasy points, he's ahead of Alvin Kamara and Kareem Hunt.
Interesting.
The only people ahead of him are Todd Gurley, Saquon Barkley, and Melvin Gordon.
Okay, interesting.
So I had him taking Adam Thielen. And then next would be Brad. And so even though, and again, we all know Brad. We all love him to death.
He sticks with ODB, right?
No, I don't have him. I actually have him with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Christian McCaffrey fits the hype role that Brad likes. He's got a good name. He's got decent performance, and I don't know. He seems like a cool guy. Can you judge that off someone's running ability? If they seem like a cool guy?
And Brad loves the hype name, and he's on a very cool team. I'd like to say, like they dress well. Everyone knows what Cam Newton's wearing. I think I'm thinking he's taking Christian McCaffrey. Adam Thielen
right.
then might have been it, but I'm sticking with Christian McCaffrey. And now we're going Dustin.
Yep. I think Dustin's the first person to pick the second person to pick a wide receiver. He probably goes, I don't have the rankings. I wish I did. Oh man. Where's DeAndre Hopkins on the list of wide receivers?
DeAndre Hopkins is the number 4 wide receiver.
Number 4? I don't know who the other ones are. I can see Dustin just taking Antonio Brown again.
Yeah, I thought about that, so that's a good one. I'll put Antonio Brown. I had him taking Kareem Hunt at that point, but you already have him off the board.
Yeah.
Antonio is not bad. I do have some other wide receivers going before him in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went to Mike. You took Melvin Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's off the board. Because of that, I think we have Kareem gone.
Yep. I think all the good running back. Oh, James Conner is still on the board, by the way. I forgot about that.
I don't think Mike's going to take James Conner.
I don't think so either.
He's going to go Adam Thielen.
Wait, did we fuck this up? Because you're picking you now.
No, I'm next. Yeah, I'm supposed to pick me. You pick you.
Whatever.
So Mike's going to take Adam Thielen.
Okay. Wasn't Thielen already gone?
No.
Okay, you're right.
I just said yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. Trust me. I got Mike taking Adam Thielen. It was between Adam Thielen and Tyreek Hill, which then puts me in a bind because now I'm going, do I want Tyreek Hill or James Conner? I'm always going to go running back first if I can. In my initial one, I was taking Tyreek Hill, but since James Conner's here, I'm going to switch and take him.
I'm going to try to make up for lost time with James Conner.
The fuck up. Okay, now we go to Miller.
Okay. I think with this...
Miller gets back-to-back picks.
Yep, Miller gets back-to-back picks. So we already said DeAndre Hopkins, right? I messed that one up.
No, you switched to Antonio Brown.
Okay, so I think Miller takes DeAndre Hopkins for sure.
I also have Miller taking DeAndre Hopkins at the 10th pick, and then I have Miller coming back and taking Zeke with the 11th pick.
With the 11th?
Hasn't had the greatest year so far, but the pure skill he has, I'm going to edge him out above David Johnson just because David Johnson's offensive line is garbage.
Okay.
So with that, then it goes to Dex. And I pick for myself again, and I have myself taking Emmanuel Sanders. Do you know what Emmanuel Sanders is ranked right now?
I don't, but I know it's good.
He's the number 3 wide receiver.
That's insanity.
Football. 0.5 PPR. It should be noted.
Okay.
Then we go back to Mike.
So I think Mike, at this point, who do you take first again?
First, Mike took Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen. So Mike's definitely going to go James White at this point.
James White. I had him taking Julio, but I don't hate James White. Because I did have him having a running back first.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's got wide receiver running back. And
Dustin.
then we're going to Dustin. You have Dustin taking Antonio Brown. I did have him taking Devontae Adams, but I'm going to switch it to David Johnson. Again, not having the greatest year so far, but one of those you just can't take away the skill that David Johnson has right now.
That's interesting. You have Dustin taking that. That is an early reach for David Johnson at his skill level right now. That's interesting.
There are not a lot of running backs. I have no
There's
more
not a
running backs
lot.
off the board.
I can't think of another one.
No, in the first 2 rounds, which I know you're supposed to go next. I want you to think, because it's Brad, I want you to think who he picked in the first round this year. Is that person still on the board?
Odell Beckham?
Yes.
Is he still on the board?
Yes.
Brad definitely takes him then. Yeah, for sure.
Brad's got Christian McCaffrey and OBJ.
Yeah.
That's Brad through and through.
Yeah, totally is. And then Gabe's up.
So Gabe is going to go Devontae Adams.
Really?
Yes, it was between Devontae Adams and AJ Green.
That's funny. In that case, I definitely have Charlie taking Michael Thomas.
Okay, I had him going to you. That's perfect though. Michael Thomas to Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I want to go back a few. Brad takes Juju in the second by name alone.
Juju's killing it. But we got
Juju's
Charlie at 17 taking Michael Thomas. Now you're up, buddy.
I'm up. I take Golden Tate in the second. Not really. I definitely don't. You didn't laugh hard enough at that.
Okay.
Who do I take? That's
you got left. You have Robert Woods, AJ Green, Devontae Adams. Oh no, I got Devontae Adams. So Robert Woods and AJ Green, and no one took Tyreek Hill.
Oh yeah, I would take Tyreek Hill then.
Okay,
I was gonna say, like, would I really have to take AJ Green in the second round? Like, I like having him, but he doesn't seem like second round capital to me.
He's doing very well, and I'm gonna have Daniel take what's his face? Do I want him to take AJ Green? Oh wait, no, we still don't have anyone taking Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams.
Yep, Paul takes Devontae Adams.
No, Daniel.
Oh, Daniel does? And then, go ahead.
Now, so I'm going to see who you think Paul would take at 20. I actually have one tight end, and it's Zach Ertz at 20. He had him last year. Zach Ertz is currently the number 1 tight end in fantasy. So it'd be between AJ Green and Zach Ertz, I feel that Paul would take.
Man, yeah, taking out all of the guesswork of the season makes it so interesting, and I could see a good tight end going in the second. I don't know if Paul would do that, even knowing what we know now, but I don't know who else on the board is like enticing whatsoever.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone, honestly. It'd probably be Zach Ertz, yeah. He's having such a good season. This is a hard mind game. When do you think Mahomes goes? What round?
4th or 5th.
4th or 5th?
That was hard. I took it out. So some people to think about, TJ Yeldon is the number 21 ranked player. But again, we have to wait till and 21 ranked in fantasy points, not total, like out of running backs, fantasy, then Mike Evans, then Stephon Diggs, then John Brown, then Travis Kelce. So those are some guys that are still hanging around, but no one's going to pick TJ Yeldon with Leonard Fournette supposed to come back after the bye.
Yep.
And now they just got Carlos Hyde.
When do you think Bell gets drafted, knowing what we know now? Probably so late.
Yeah, it'd be final 3 rounds, and it's just like I want to get him. As of right now, I don't think we'll see Bell back unless he gets traded, and I think the trade deadline's in like a week or 2.
I think someone would reach for him a lot earlier. I'd say he'd go in like the 6th at the latest.
Do you think you would reach for him?
If I had Connor, yeah. It's like if you're the Connor owner, knowing what we know now, you'd have to pick him up around 5 or 6, depending on what's left on the board and what you need, but I can definitely see it happening.
Yep. So that was this was a lot harder than you guys think.
Yeah, it was hard.
I put in a little more effort than Parker.
A little bit.
But he fucking is a lot better at rolling with the punches, as we know, and he did very well. So I wrote this in there. Or you did?
I did, yeah. We were going to try to make this a regular segment, but like we didn't last time, so I don't know. I figured we could wing it. Are you ready to wing it?
Yeah, let's pull it up. I can pull up.
This
is our FAB, FAAB segment.
I did just show everyone how to get to the FAB on the website, by the way. Anyone who's watching the video version of the podcast.
And it shows unsexful. Ooh, nice. Yeah. Unsuccessful. if you didn't get him. So the first one that pops up is Brad tried to get Larry Fitzgerald for $7, but Gab grabbed him at $19.
Shit on him. Is that? I might say this every single podcast. Is that the highest someone spent on a player? Do you know?
I don't think we've broken 20, so that might be or tied. I thought 18 was the highest.
It's hard to look back far enough, but
you'd have to go through each week one-on-one. Let's just say
we have Cole Beasley at 17. We have Alfred Morris at 18. We have Calvin Ridley at 18. Philip Lindsay for 16. Good pickup, by the way, for 16 bucks.
Great one. The way he's playing too.
Yeah. Interesting.
So you see that, and then one of my favorite ones. So I text Parker Tuesday morning. I was like, personally, I feel like you reached really hard for Jalen Richard, and you're gonna regret it.
Is it Richard or is it Richard? It's Richard, isn't it? Fuck!
Does it matter? Like that's how much.
It matters.
That's why you spent $14 on a guy you don't know his last name. I want you to let that.
That's the least important part about him. Literally the least important thing about him.
Nothing about him. You found out.
He's the pass catching back on a team that just lost a wide receiver and a running back.
Yep.
Marshawn Lynch is not the wide receiver, but thank you,
Then
Dex.
why didn't you go pick up Martavius Bryant
Martavius Bryant?
on the Raiders?
I don't fucking know. Did anybody pick him up?
Nope. I'm going right now. You guys are gonna see the first pickup. Fuck. Dex. Wrong player.
Who are you gonna drop?
Someone I told you I wasn't gonna drop. I can't even find him.
Do you even know his name? Do you even know how to spell his name, Dex?
It's go fuck yourself.
Who on your team would you even replace him for?
No one. I'm not dropping him.
I like no one. I like that I can now like browse the thing during the podcast, and it's like at least a little bit entertaining to the viewers.
Yeah, he was pretty far down there. I can't right now. I still have a couple more buys to go through, so I have to keep some people.
Anyways,
anyone listening out there, Martavis Bryant, who's now the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver for Oakland, is up there.
I would not. I mean, maybe if you really fucking need it, but I mean, Jalen Richard in losing games is rocking 6 or 7 catches a game, 8 or 9 points, and that was before all these extra targets came up for grabs. I think he's a decent stash. I obviously overpaid because I could have got him for $6 but this is what I thought his value is at, especially on my team. I'll probably never need to play him. Knock on literal wood.
So then the next big unsuccessful that we saw a lot of was for your favorite kicker, which I was surprised, Matt Prater. Brad got him for 5 fab.
Yep. And the other notable kicker purchase was also by me, Crosby for $5. I don't know. I flipped my script this year. Prater has his blow up games, but Crosby has 2, man. He's got an 18, 14, really 17. Yeah, I think he got out of his system, dude. It's like the only time in his career.
To be fair, you won that week because he kicked a shit field goal at the end of the game.
Yeah, he still won me the game. He's my boy this year.
Literally took you from -3 to 0 for your kicker, and Daniel's kicker at -1. Let that sink in. But you had Paul bidding 0 for Matt Prater. Also, Mike bidding 0 for Matt Prater. Myself bid $2, but Brad grabbed him for 5.
How do you feel about spending $5 on a kicker, dude?
Well, one, you say that, but how much money does he have left?
Brad? That's a good question. Where is he? What's his name in this shit?
Hooked on a Thielen. There's a way to see everyone's in a list.
God, he's so unforgettable. He's got $37 left.
Here, I'll tell you everyone's. So in order from that doesn't do highest to lowest. All right, you got Dustin with $21 left. Daniel with 74, which is crazy because the 2 people tied for first. Daniel has 74 fab left. Dustin only has 21. Then you got yourself at 26, Brad at 37, Gabe at 29, Miller at 52, Paul at 34, Charlie at 35, Dex at 36, and Mike, our dead last player, at 50.
I feel like we're burning down pretty quick this year compared to last year. I'd like to run those numbers eventually.
I don't know, though. I feel like because once you get to a point, it's like, all right, there's not a lot of good players to pick up.
Yeah, that's true.
So it kind of just dies down.
Oh, by the way, I was going to talk about this first thing. We are more than halfway to the season, boys. Congrats for making it this far.
It's one of the most bittersweet things ever because we do put a lot of time and effort, hours on hours talking and all stuff like this. But I love it. I
Yeah.
fucking love it.
It's
I'm
a
a
good time.
self-made millionaire. Fuck the public. Easy F, baby.
All right. Is there anything else relevant here to talk about? Mike went for Jesse James. Is the other Pittsburgh tight end available?
Yes, it's so hard because you never know.
McDonald?
He's not wrong by picking that tight end out of the two,
Yeah.
but again, a crapshoot. You don't know what you're getting.
I know pro consensus is on McDonald over Jesse James, but it is a
Mike
crapshoot.
Mike did get Doug Martin, the RB1 for so he is going to be the featured back for Oakland, and he paid $4 while you paid 14 for Jalen Richard. Now, before I finish, you also have James White, who's not the featured back, who's fucking killing it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm clearly hanging off the nuts of Pats catching backs right now.
Also, who's your quarterback you just picked up?
Matt Stafford for $4.
I don't hate it. It's hard because so at least you picked a consistent.
He's very consistent. It's beautiful. It's a match made in heaven, really.
Yeah, because your team, that's smart.
I needed it. I was shocked that no one else got him. I was shocked he was still available, even after his bye. He's playing Seahawks, but that's not really scary anymore.
Nope. But I think that's enough about free agency.
Yeah.
We hit the nail on the head. Nothing crazy changing. Now, you asked me earlier if you think I will give an ice this season.
Yeah.
I do not believe I will. I think for the first time ever, we unofficially started in 2013, officially started in 2015. This is the first time at this point where I pretty much know we have the winner of the league. I'm guaranteeing it. We have the winner of the league.
Already?
Hands down. This person won't lose another game.
In weeks?
Wow. This person's going to probably score the most points every single week. I'm guaranteeing that. Like, a lot of us, like, if you can stop caring as much now, guys, because it doesn't matter.
Just phone it in, take it home.
And to jump into that, let's go into the first week 8 pick'ems. It's Daniel versus Mike, and I don't see Daniel losing another game.
Damn, wow, you're really calling your shot. Is that a Dexter Gabeta hot take that Daniel goes undefeated the rest of the season?
I don't want to say it's a hot take, but it is the lock-in take of the year. Guarantee, seal of approval. Trump flying down to put that stamp on and be like, good job, Daniel. Keep up the good work. His wins. I'm guaranteeing them, guys.
It's inevitable.
And you can trust Dexter Michelle Abeta.
Wow, that's a Dexter Gabeta seal of approval.
So sorry, Mike. I'm picking Daniel over you in this week's matchup. What about you? Who do you got?
Yeah, I got Daniel too. I think I'm buying in today. I got Daniel on this one for sure.
The next matchup is yours against our lovely Miller.
Oh, I'm gonna do hot shit and actually preview the games in this. There we go. Me versus Miller. Yeah, this is gonna be like a tough fight, to be honest. I got me on this one. Obviously, we don't have to talk about it super much, but my team's back to full strength finally. Thank God. I got all my buys done like pretty early, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you too. Currently, you're projected to beat him, but he doesn't have his defense. He doesn't even have a fucking defense. His only defense is on bye.
Yeah, I wish that like we didn't edit the podcast. Like he didn't edit our podcast, so he wouldn't hear you talk about it. I was trying not to talk about it, honestly.
When I played him, I thought the same thing, and then he picked some people up on like Friday. Like the worst part about Miller and like Brad and them being good, like Miller was watching football this weekend, and I was watching with him, and fucking DeAndre Hopkins scores a touchdown, and he's like, "Is that my player?" And I wanted to punch him in the face.
Is that my man? Do I have him?
And then Njoku, like 10 minutes later, scores one. He's like, "Hold on, I think I picked him up. Did I start him?" And I was like, "Fuck me. Fuck me. Someone shoot me in the head."
Did you start him? You only got one tight end, motherfucker. I hope you started him.
So I'm also going to take you over Miller.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Next matchup, Gabe versus Dustin.
Dustin on this one. Big time Dustin.
Yeah, Dustin's 5-2. But Gabe's right there. Gabe's got some tough losses, but I'm going to also run with Dustin.
Do you know how Kamara's been doing since Ingram came back? Has not had a blow-up game. He's had the 5.4 bye and then 14.5. Just, I don't know, not a terrible experience, but it'd be interesting if Kamara drops off and kind of sinks Gabe's team as predicted.
Yeah, it's very interesting too because Mike's banking on Ingram, but I don't think Ingram's going to be that great. Like we saw his first game back, Kamara had an injury. That's the week I beat Gabe because he talked a lot of fucking shit before it was over, and got almost 0 points, 3 points I think. I feel like they're gonna fuck each other because everyone's remembering last year and how they both blew up every week. But Drew Brees' fucking arm is slinging it like no other.
Yeah, and last year was astronomical. You can't repeat that performance 2 years over and over.
Yeah, it's like, and that's the one thing about fantasy football players that I feel like they don't pay attention enough to the football knowledge. Is it's so hard to see things happen. There's very few teams where you see that, and that's the Patriots. That's the Colts when they had Peyton Manning. And the only reason Denver was irrelevant when they had Peyton Manning is because our defense was so good. Who won the Super Bowl last year? Do you remember? Please tell me you remember.
Hold on. You put me on the spot, so now I'm all scared and shit.
They played the Patriots.
I know they played the Patriots, bro. I can't remember this.
Backup quarterback had to start, and he.
Oh, it was the Eagles. It's only because you put the pressure on me.
yeah, the Eagles. They're not doing good this year. It's so fucking hard to stay consistent in this.
It is.
And that's a big thing. So I don't think it's gonna happen. So yeah, I'm going to take Dustin.
Yep.
And then our next one, which will be nice, is Charlie versus Brad.
This is an interesting one, for sure. Zeke and Eckler are out for Gabe. Or not Gabe, Charlie.
Charlie, yeah, wow. Yep.
Yeah, well, it's just that time on the podcast, bro.
Yeah.
Brad's got Corey Clements playing Jacksonville. They're not going to do good. Man, I got to take Charlie on this one.
I'm taking Brad. Now, before we jump into the last matchup, I'm going to explain some of my picks. And Daniel's going to be an outlier for most of them because I'm already guaranteeing him to go undefeated. Like, Daniel's won this, guys. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rooting against people on the fact that I need to make the playoffs. So there's a few of you that I need to lose every single week. So I will always be rooting against you. And unfortunately, Charlie, you're one of them. I will say Charlie, Mike, Gabe, and Paul. I will be consistently rooting against you guys to lose every week to help my odds. Yes, my odds. Wow. I was about to change that to ads. Help my ads. Sponsor the pod. Help me get into the playoffs. So now going into the last one, myself versus Paul, our loved. We have a lot on the line. He already won week 1. He got to pick my name. I had a chug and ice, and I paid him $100. Now on this one, we said we're gonna have the name picking keep going. So if I win, I get to pick his name. We also did another large ice and $50. Who do you got, Parker? Dude, who the fuck you got?
I got Paul, man. There's no way you're taking this one home with your team right now.
No way.
Trubisky would have to score like 40 points.
That down again, real quick. Okay, I got it.
I love your use of that emoji lately, by the way. Just the writing down one. Very subtle. You never talked about it. We talk about things on this podcast here. But no, you have your best player, Travis Kelce, playing Denver this week.
Denver's not great. I think they're number 22 against the tight end.
I honestly, tight ends are so rarely targeted. I have never given a shit about a team's rating against the tight end statistics. There's just not enough data there, and it's too inconsistent.
Whatever you say, sweetheart. I got myself, Dextric Michelle Abeda. With that, though, and why I have more faith that I'm going to beat Paul than I usually do, he keeps talking shit already. He literally told the league, I can't wait to knock Dex out of the playoffs. Which one, even if I lose, I'm not out of the playoffs. That's fucking math. Would it be hard for me to make the playoffs? Yes.
Very hard.
Impossible? No. Improbable? Let's see. And then also he said he's going to send me to the Shadow Realm. Like, motherfucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Ass motherfucker. If you say, I'll fight in the shade. 300 quote that I was waiting to use, and I kind of ruined it. But I don't know if you guys would get it.
Motherfucker, I'll fight in the shade. That's exactly how he said in 300, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he did. What a good movie.
Yeah, good luck. Paul clearly didn't learn anything last week from talking shit ahead of time, so maybe you got a chance here just on the gods like smiting his entire team and you somehow struggling this one out.
Only projected 15 more than me. Or 15-5.
Projections don't mean anything. Sometimes, like, I'll ask Amber, I'll be like, Amber, do I start this guy or this guy? And she'll just be like, who's projected more? I'll be like, I don't give a fuck about the projections, babe.
I will give Paul props. He picked up Denver's kicker, which I almost did. And that one's going to hurt if I do lose. And it comes down to our kickers. Like, that's the reason.
Well, he's got Josh Gordon playing on Monday against Buffalo, so I don't think you'll have to worry about that. But you'll be done. You will be done on Sunday.
Yeah, afternoon.
You have 3 guys in the night game. Yeah.
No, I have no guys in the night game.
No, night game is 4:05. Right?
No, that's...
Oh, shit, you're right. Paul only has 1 guy in the night game, Drew Brees, so I thought that.
Then he has one Monday. So I'm going to be done after the 2 o'clock games. Paul will still have his quarterback, and then he'll have Josh Gordon. That sucks. That's one of those ones where you're like, you hate to have a lead and then watch them pick at it. Like, just hitting you over and over in the kneecap.
You're going to feel so good going into Drew Brees not playing too, and then he's going to put up his 30 or whatever the hell.
What do you mean Drew Brees? Oh, not, yeah.
He plays Sunday night.
I won't ever feel good.
I won't ever feel good. There you go. Cap off the podcast with that. I won't ever feel good.
Yeah, that's all we had for you this week, boys.
If you liked this format, if you didn't like this format, please tell us. If you didn't like it, just tell it to us in private so that people don't bandwagon on that. But seriously, let us know how you feel.
How long was it?
I think we hit an hour on this one.
Okay,
maybe a little bit under.
Longer than I thought. It's we spent more time, or Parker spent more time on setting this up, not as much on content. Again, we're growing. We're trying to get better. We're trying to make this more entertaining for you guys. Because, again, we do this for you guys. We fucking love it. It's a highlight of my week every week. I feel like we're at the point now I don't have to re-listen to them. I didn't re-listen to last week's. I didn't listen the week before.
Yep.
It's kind of nice because if you hear yourself on this, you sound stupid. Or at least I sound stupid in my own head.
Yeah, we need some call-ins from people who have been on the podcast saying what it felt like when you listened to your own recording afterwards.
Oh yeah, again, shout out to Luigi.
Yeah.
Let me know how it went. I hope you took our advice. I hope Trubisky. I started him, did fucking great. Melvin Gordon screwed me, but Luigi, send us a pizza. And as always,
fuck you, Daniel.
I like to make money, get turned. I like to make money, get.
Nailed it, bro. Oh shit! I didn't record it at all.
Do you know how depressed I'd be?
Super fucking.
Or I guess it'll just be a frozen page.
Okay. Well, I did begin recording just